Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews on August 26th. I'm Scott, and that's Dave. That way.
Dave.
Yes. Our review.
Sorry, I didn't know if you wanted me to start or not.
Oh, it's all good. Our review this week is Stallone's Cobra from the 80s. But first,
Oh, wrong Cobra. Never mind. I was thinking G.I. Joe. Never mind.
Yeah. So first up, we'll do with some housekeeping. Just a little quick about the podcast. We have changed our format a bit to include day of stuff and to keep up with a little more current news, even though there's not a lot sometimes. And then we'll go into our old ass reviews, talk about some new stuff. We finally broke over 1,000 listeners, so thank you to everybody who's listened and downloaded us. And please take a moment to hit the like buttons wherever you listen. Give us a review. Help us be seen. If you like what we're talking about, you just find us entertaining and want to share that, please do. You can find us pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Just leave a review. But let us also know. Drop us a line. Let us know how you found us. Anything to get the word out and help us out. If you got movies you want to see, let us know that as well.
I know that Apple Review, or from what I understand, Apple Review, if you leave a good review, it kind of knocks us up a notch and makes us easier to be found. I assume that everyone else is like that. You're the techno wizard. I'm just the guy who answers the phone.
Yeah, that is correct. That is correct. So you help us out by leaving a review so we can be found and not just in the depths of podcast land. We've been at this a little over a year. We enjoy it and want to keep doing it. So please spread the word so we're able to. And that would be a great help. A couple things I wanted to bring up. I am a fan I remember in the 90s going to see Candyman in the theater. I am such a fan of that story. Have you seen Candyman?
I think I saw the first one. I'm a fan of the actor, the guy
Tony
who
Todd?
plays Candyman. Yeah.
Tony Todd is great.
I'm a big fan of his. He's a really, really good actor. And he's a big guy.
Yes.
And I was going to ask you, because you had mentioned Candyman earlier, I had saw that they have a new one coming.
Yeah.
Is he playing Candyman, or they got a new guy?
He's in it. And I assume he is, because this is not a reboot.
Ooh.
It is not a reboot.
Now I'm interested. Now I'm very interested in this movie.
I'm interested until I read a review earlier.
Uh-oh.
And I'm still interested. But here's the tagline for the review. Candyman, a frightless, preachy art house reboot. I'm going to hold judgment and read some more reviews. There was already a political message behind Candyman, but the original was not preachy.
I was going to say, really, if it was there, I didn't, if I remember, like I said, I'm not sure if I actually saw the whole movie or not.
Well,
I don't remember it being preachy.
It wasn't preachy, but it had a political, it had a message. It had an anti-lynching, racial, you can't get away from it. It all took place in the projects in Chicago. And
that's where a lot of the lynchings took place. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of lynchings took place up north, not down south. They took place down south, but the majority of the ones that everybody reads about happened up in Chicago, Illinois. Places you wouldn't think that's where they happened.
That's exactly right. So I'm hoping this person just didn't like the movie and thought it was too much. Right. We talk about it all the time on it's okay to have a message because you can't get away from it, but to at least do it in an artistic way. That gives me a little pause. I still really want to see it because Candyman, to me, the first one still scared the shit out of me. We were leaving the theater, my wife and I and another couple, and I'm driving down the road in Huntsville, Alabama, and I look up in the rearview mirror and I'm like, Candyman.
Oh no!
And everybody starts screaming, "No!" We just left the theater. Yeah, I still can't do it, but I had to tease a little bit. It's a great story. Tony Todd, I got to meet a few years ago at Pensacola.
Really?
Yes. Very nice guy. Yes, very tall.
Oh my
super
Lord,
nice.
that is
super
so
nice.
cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
I'd like to meet him.
Really
He's
good
like
dude.
a nice guy.
So that's that comes out tomorrow. So fans of Clive Barker's Candyman, let us know what you find out about it. If it's a preachy mess, or is it actually faithful to the source and giving us something to continue? That's what I want. I want something new. When I heard it wasn't a reboot, that gave me a lot more hope.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
Yeah.
Reboots just. Oh, please.
I'm perfectly fine with them going in and making a new movie of a established property, as long as it's not a reboot. Ghostbusters comes to mind.
Being attacked by a fly.
Yeah.
Speaking of like reboots and how to do it, remember a couple of weeks ago we were talking and I said something to the effect of DC never came out and said, hey, all these stories are happening in a different universe. And I said, how great would it be to be Elseworld sagas? Just if you're going to do it, do that. Well, evidently the Flash movie's kind of doing that. It's explaining, it's basically explaining the DC universe to those who don't realize that there's more than one Batman, more than one Superman, more than one Wonder Woman. You know what I mean? So I'm interested in to see how they do that. I may not go see that at movies, but I'm slurring my words. I'm sorry. But I would watch that. I would rent that, especially if a lot of people come out and go, "Oh my God, it was great!" So
yeah, I do like it.
They had playing Flash.
Yeah,
so.
Ezra Miller. I like Ezra Miller a lot in that role as Barry Allen. I do understand it may even be the name of the movie is this deals with Flashpoint.
Right. Right.
So, and I watched the series for a few years on the CW, and while it was good, it got very annoying pretty quickly because all Barry Allen did was fuck everything up because he messes with time. So we're about to see that again with Flashpoint. So.
Yeah, I saw the scene where he and the other Barry Allen from the series meet, and I don't know if that's in the movie or if that was in a series. I'm not sure.
I think it is. And what was cool in the series is the original actor who played the Flash on TV also played on the series as an alternate Flash, and they just had so much. And it was actually really cool. But there's, I could talk for hours about the problems with that show. It was still kind of fun.
Yeah, as long as it's fun and entertaining, I don't care.
Exactly. Cool. Exactly. Speaking of fun and entertaining, you wanted to mention something about Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah. Now, last week was not the time for me to watch Suicide Squad. I will freely admit it. I will absolutely freely admit I had COVID. My head was just like in a muddle. I don't know if anybody out there that's listening to the podcast or has seen it or what have you has had this yet. But for me, it was like a week-long flu that just like it just didn't let go. It was like a flu that just went, I'm going to hang on to you for a week and a half.
Doesn't sound fun.
Then 2 weeks went on, and I was just really tired all the time. And that's when I think week 2 or week 3, I tried to watch Suicide Squad. And my head was still very COVID head, is what the wife's calling it, is COVID head, which I couldn't think. I haven't drawn. I'm just now starting to get back into looking at my pencils again and going, okay, I need to draw something. Haven't written anything, haven't nothing. I mean, I did nothing. But I rewatched it. I started it where I started fast forwarding it, picked it up there, and started watching it. And I really don't think I missed much. But I will reiterate, I did like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it, plug your ears. I don't think Flag is dead. They made way too much of a moment to show that thing going into his beating heart and all that. They're literally in his heart, watching the heart thump and the thing goes in. I'm like, okay, this is way too much for this guy to actually be dead. How are they going to bring him back to life? So don't know who's going to do that, bring him back to life. I thought on my second viewing of this was they could have written Harley Quinn to be the jumping off point for the characters that truly did survive, the jumping off point for her to be completely insane and mad and needs to be locked up. Still, at the end of the movie, still needs to be locked up because she's totally insane and mad. But show that she does have a conscience. I mean, she did that with the guy that she shoots in the chest and goes, "You're not killing kids. It's a red light. You know, it's a red flag for me. I gotta kill you." You know, I mean, that was really funny. I mean, it was a very funny scene, but that guy deserved killing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And she was the person to do it. But I think they could have written her to where you see her story arc moving a little bit more sane. Still, like, I would kill you as soon as have sex with you, like she was, but also see her arc coming over. And I think if everybody's arc would have attached itself to her, I don't know how to explain it other than this. You would have seen Bloodsport and Rat Girl and even the stupid Mako Shark guy, King Shark. They could have showed these people like, oh, okay, we are a team. We are a family. There's something bigger going on in the world than just us and what we've been doing. And we see it now. You know what I mean? That moment was never really. It came close.
I was going to say it came very close.
Came kind of close with Bloodsport telling Viola Davis's character to go F herself. And,
that's the point I'm thinking of is when they saw Starro and it's like, oh, and they decided to fuck it. You know what? There's some more important things than us. And that was kind of what they did. His
character could have been even more interesting if they would have showed him taking care of Ratcatcher too.
Yeah.
More like a daughter because of the problem that you see with his daughter. I kept waiting for that father-daughter moment. Yeah. I mean, when he lands and he turns and sees what's his name with the gun, it's like it's not a father-daughter moment. That's a guy who wants to kill somebody that he wanted to kill anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That's a good point.
Going to kill somebody that he actually kind of likes.
Yeah.
I think they could have built on that dynamic, like a Wolverine and every little girl kid that
Wolverine
meets.
Jubilee matchup.
Yeah.
Kitty Pryde.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Like if you have Wolverine, and it's got to be something in his past that nobody ever talks about. It had to be a daughter that he lost or something, and there's some subconscious thing going on that he's always protecting these kids and teaching them how to be heroes. I think they missed that with Bloodsport and Ratcatcher.
Yeah, there was an opportunity there.
Shark guy could have just, that you could have found out that this guy really was intelligent. Because in the comic, he's not dumb.
Even on the CW series, he was in the Flash a lot. He was not dumb at all.
No, he's a smart guy. He was smart. He's like
yes,
he's like
very
really
much like
smart.
Grodd. Hold on, geek moment. Did King Shark come from the whole thing that created Grodd, or something along the lines? Okay,
my understanding of King Shark is that he's some kind of descendant of a shark god.
Okay.
Anybody that's out there that hears this, if I'm wrong, please let me know. But that's how dude, I got 40, 55 years of freaking comic books in my head that I just forget. And every once in a while something comes up. But I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and say it wasn't as horrible as I was saying last week. I will be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's a bad movie. You can miss it. But
I think that still stands.
Yeah. If you just kind of listen to what Scott and I just said and you go watch the movie, you'll be like, I think I see what Dave was saying with
a missed
that relationship. I see what they were saying with Harley Quinn. They could have made her even more important in that Suicide Squad universe. They could have made her very important. At one point, I mean, shit, if you got a good enough writer, and they don't yet, they could have made Harley Quinn the head of that Suicide Squad, taking over Viola Davis's racket at some point. You could show her as an older woman, just being batshit crazy. And when somebody questions her, she's like, I know what I'm talking about. I've been there. Don't worry about it. Go on and save these people. Everything will be okay.
Yeah. All right.
That's just my take on it.
Yeah. Okay, so not a complete change of heart, but just more of, yes, there were some missed opportunities, and the chemistry between Idris Elba and the actress who played Ratcatcher 2 was really good. So it was a missed opportunity.
Yes, that's what I guess my biggest thing was like, you guys you had it in your hand, you know. But
it would have been a good moment. It would have been a really good moment.
Would have been a great moment. Yeah, would have been very good to see that relationship. Him like, oh well, I can't be with my daughter, but I can take care of you, and you're about her age. So come on, I'm going to teach you how not to be me.
yeah, that's a tall order. That's a tall order because he was not going to win Dad of the Year. That's for damn sure.
No, he was not.
No, but not everybody gets it. Here's the thing about the Suicide Squad, and I was about to say everybody deserves a chance of redemption. And it's like, oh, that's the Suicide Squad. Even as bad as they are, and psycho as Harley is, Margot Robbie, I think, gives so much to that character. And you had said it early on, is thank God they didn't make her prostitute Harley. And I agree. We don't need to have her sexualized to that level. So it was much better.
They never did.
No.
That's just somebody who never got laid, I guess. I don't know, or just thinks everything needs a bit more. And I never liked that costume. I prefer the animated version Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
that's what I was. And she kind of starts out that way. I guess that costume was from one of the video games or something that she initially starts in.
Yeah,
before she gets the dress on, and that was pretty close to what I was looking at. I was like, okay, that's cool, but. Yeah, you don't need prostitute Harley. You need Harley Quinn being crazy, cute, spunky, and insane. That's Harley Quinn.
Here's the thing. She delivers such a crazy character that you like her, and you wonder, would I hang out with her? Yeah, probably, but she would probably kill me. So I don't want to hang out with her, but she looks like she'd be a lot of fun. But then she'd kill me.
I'll keep my distance. We'll hang out, but I'll keep my distance. She'll
we'll
stay
zoom.
like half a block in front of me.
We'll just do this. Okay.
We'll just zoom Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
She's okay. So, she just can't be in the same space with her.
Yeah. So moving on from Suicide Squad, one of the things that I saw is Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead is getting a prequel, which is going to be on Netflix, I think, October 27th. So that tells me it's already filmed.
Prequel,
yeah. And it's called Army of Thieves. That's all I could find on it. So I am really hoping we get some backstory on to what exactly these robotic alien zombies are.
I saw like some kind of little teaser trailer, but I don't remember whether it was on YouTube or if it was on Netflix. I don't know. I can't remember.
Look for it.
But the whole story, I guess, looks like it's following the little blonde thing.
Yeah, and I haven't looked far enough to see, so I'm just hoping we get some hints.
If that's what it is, I don't care about that guy enough.
Right.
If it's just the story about him being a safecracker, I don't care enough about that guy's character to watch that movie. If it turns out like we were talking that he's the guy who releases the initial zombie because the safe he breaks into has got the zombie in it, then it's like, this is all coming together. This is how it all happened. It's all coming together now.
I got a feeling it will lead right up to where Army of the Dead starts, where, during the whole intro, they show them doing on that rescue mission or whatever. So it's probably going to go right up to that. So we'll get a little bit of that. And then Zack Snyder's been greenlit for a true sequel that they're writing and developing now. So it hasn't started filming. So I'm really curious to see where they go with this. So we'll see.
Mexico City. The guy was headed to Mexico City.
Yeah.
It's got to be ugly because it's it's the most populated per square foot city on the planet. Is it there? It's either that or
there's a shit ton of people and soon to be a shit ton of zombies.
Very close together.
Yeah. So looking forward to seeing what happens with that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, what else comes out tomorrow is, finally for free or subscription and rent is Cruella on Disney, which I've actually been looking forward to seeing.
That's the lady. It wasn't the girl in Black Widow with ScarJo that was going to sue. The girl from Cruella's, her lawyers were looking into suing. And here's
something that's interesting.
I don't know if she still is or not.
She's not going to. She's doing a sequel. She's signed on for a sequel.
Okay, so she told her lawyers to shut the hell up.
Probably.
Okay.
And you know what? That's between them. One of the things that's interesting on that, it just briefly touched back on the ScarJo lawsuit, was Disney in response released how much money they actually made by charging $30 a pop on Disney. $125 million streaming.
Okay.
So I think that really gives actors the leverage to say, hey, you're making a ton of money on this streaming. This needs to be in the contracts.
Well, yeah, because if they didn't, if that money was made, then she deserves whatever percentage she was going to get from the box office.
They should treat that like box office, in my opinion.
Yeah, because you didn't let it go in the box office, but you charged $30.
Mm-hmm. So
that might not have been a good idea.
I was surprised they released that. Yeah. Because
they're trying to prove that they're not having trouble selling their movies, but there's no way to prove any of their numbers. That's the problem. There's nothing there. Like at being released at a theater, you can track the money a lot easier. Mm-hmm. Doing what they're doing, they can hide their numbers very easily, or make them look a lot bigger.
Yeah,
I mean, they were saying that the Falcon and Winter Soldier was like, oh, it was bigger than. It is almost as big as, Wanda and Vision. And
no way.
And everybody that I know that watches it said exactly what you said. There's no way. Most people didn't even sit through the whole series.
No, and I could see
for whatever reason. Most people just went, bowing out.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But all it was
I've not seen it, so I don't know.
It was just a setup to get Sam to be Captain America, which we knew was coming anyway because of the run of the comics. So.
Right.
Basically all it was. It had some decent moments, but man, it was apparently somebody had told me that they originally had a storyline dealing with a global pandemic. So they changed it and took things out, therefore made the main villains, the terrorist group, the eco-terrorists that they were fighting, kind of even weaker and made no sense. So it's like, so I think that might have hurt them.
So the people that were the big problem weren't as big a problem.
Weren't really a big problem. It's like, oh, you guys aren't even a threat.
Like Sam could have taken you out by himself.
Exactly. He didn't even need the shield.
Yeah, and he's a newbie when it comes to being a superhero.
He is. And the thing was, it was basically a setup for him.
Yeah.
And showing that just being Captain America is not about having the uniform and the shield. It's about representing the ideals and everything. So
it's in the heart.
And that's what he had to come to terms with. So in that aspect, they actually delivered. But it's like, And the problem with me is WandaVision spoiled me. I thought WandaVision was excellent.
Until you sit back and you think to yourself, she was a villain. She was a freaking super villain. You're like, wait a minute. I was rooting for a supervillain the whole time.
But you know what? You look at her backstory. You look at what happened and how she was used to kill all those people. She struggled with that a lot, and that showed in WandaVision with all her guilt and conscience. So I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, she was burying all that shit because I don't think she remembered half of it.
No, she didn't, and that started coming out.
I think she was doing subconsciously,
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool. But like when you stop and think about it, like you get mad when that guy's going to shoot the two kids. So you realize, wait a minute, those kids don't even exist.
Yeah. No, they don't
exist. Who cares if he shoots them?
But still, and I think that's what was great about that writing.
I'm sorry, we went off on that tangent.
No, that's fine. So that's what
WandaVision. I did like WandaVision a lot.
So that's what we have to look forward to. Candyman and new Army of the Dead movies coming, prequels, sequels. So anything else that you might have seen that was going on?
There was, and I totally forgot. We were talking right before we started filming, and I totally forgot what the hell else I wanted to talk about.
All good.
I wanted to talk about, I forgot. It's gone.
Right.
It's gone.
That's
it's
fine.
out of my head.
So without further ado, let's get to the 80s not so classic. Sylvester Stallone as Marion Cobretti in Cobra. Enjoy the review. Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews, and have we got a treat maybe for you? 1986, I think. Cobra, yeah. Sylvester Stallone, Brigitte Nielsen, some other people that I recognized, but I can't remember their names right now.
Santoni.
Yes, yeah.
Robinson
the actor played
from DS9 and the crazy guy that was the murderer in Dirty Harry.
Yes, yes. And you texted me something about this movie, and I got to get this out. This just cracks me up. He changed his hair color, but he still looks the same. Yeah. Yes. So once he was recognized as this mass murderer, he just dyed his hair, and that was it.
Real quick, folks, before we get too started, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the join button. Is that what that's called? The button?
I have no idea. Hit all the buttons.
There's a button over here that you follow us and have fun.
Follow
have
us,
fun with us.
Share us.
We're fun people. Yeah, go ahead and share us too, because we like to be shared around.
Please pass us around.
Well, but this movie, it's called Cobra. Sylvester Stallone at the top of his game, and he wrote this. Did you catch that?
It's a screen he had adapted it from a novel. So, however,
read the novel.
I bet you the novel's quite different, and the reason I say that is I actually really enjoyed this movie for what it was. Mm-hmm. It's an 80s action flick all the way down to the shitty fucking music in it. The songs were bad, but they were 80s.
I think they had one good song towards
the
end.
There was one.
Like the last song that was playing.
Yes, they must have paid whatever they had left. They went ahead and bought that one. But
yeah, right.
But
go ahead.
I'll give them this. With all of that said, it's an 80s film. It's action. It's explosions. Oh my God, the stunts are everywhere. There's car chases, motorcycle jumps. It is a fun 80s movie, at least to me. Yeah. It was fun to watch. It's like, wow, this I could watch this type of movie all the time.
Right.
Because the 80s is so full of them, and they are bad. It's not a great movie.
This was a bad movie. This really was a bad movie. I don't even know where to start, man. Brigitte Nielsen. She was still pretty then. This is before she totally went insane or whatever happened to her.
This is how many years ago?
Drugs and whatever.
Yeah.
She looked very young and very pretty, and I didn't recognize her. Honest to God, I was like, I thought she was in the movie, but I didn't recognize her when she first shows up.
She looks quite different. She's got to be in her early 20s.
Yeah, late teens, early 20s, I'm guessing. The thing, this is what really bothers me about this movie. I swear to God. Usually, like in Dirty Harry, you have the cop that everybody's like, oh, you're as bad as the criminals. Well, in this case, Cobra really was. I mean, he really was as bad.
He got the job done.
He was just as dangerous as anybody that he was trying to capture. And I'll give you the example that I got is whenever the car that he's chasing goes up on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
He just follows him up on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
I'm like, you could have stayed in the street. You probably would have cut him off because the guy had to go through all the people.
All the people?
And the shooting down the street, Main Street, USA.
Oh, my God.
Middle of the freaking suburbs, middle of the freaking city. I want to get back to that, but these are the kinds of things that bothered me. What really, 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 really got to me is, I guess it's the Hammer. What would they call themselves? The Hammer or something?
Well, they were Axes.
The Hammer Club? I don't know. They were some kind of cult, Hammer cult. There was no purpose of the cult. There was no leader of this cult. There was nobody making money on this cult. Anybody who's ever read anything about any cult, there's always somebody that's absolutely sane, pretending to be as insane as their followers, making money. But there was nobody there. There's nobody at the head of. There's nobody leading any of these cults. That they were showing.
This was early. This was early Amway.
It's a pyramid scheme.
It is.
I kill 2 people, you kill 4 people, and you bring me their money.
Yes. That's how it works.
And you get more people to kill other people for you.
Yeah. It wasn't the Nexium sex cult. It wasn't Amway. It wasn't. My God.
Amway.
You're right.
Lord.
You know, and here's the thing about. Let me back up because we're going to be all over the place in this fucker.
Yeah.
All right. This movie follows a wild loose cannon cop, Marion Cobretti, part of the zombie squad, as they called him.
I love
a real
that
badass.
Zombie Squad.
We're seeing early Judge Dredd here. He's judge, jury, executioner. He don't give a shit. He gets the job done. And you have this cult that's killing people. And you don't find out really till the very end what it's all about. But as you said, there's nobody leading this cult. You saw people in business suits with their why okay, God damn it. If I'm going to be in a cult and they tell me, hey, you need to show up in the sewer systems at 3:00 so we can all stand in a line and ting our axes, I'm out because that's some goofy shit right there. Right. What was the point of that? Ching ching.
I don't even get a hat. There wasn't even a funny hat for this cult.
There wasn't even a funny hat. There wasn't even a secret handshake, except they all had the axe tattoo.
You mean all I have to do is bring my? No, they were hammers.
They were axes.
The axe gang is in Kung Fu Hustle.
Oh fuck! Which is a much better movie, by the way.
These guys didn't even have a dance scene. I mean, there was no dance off with the axe and the guy. That I would have got. I would have went. That's funny. That's psychotic, but in a fun way.
You realize
if psychotics can be that way.
I just have to interject. We really should do Kung Fu Hustle next.
I love that movie. The thing will last 5 minutes. I'll be like, yeah, that's a great movie. I love it.
I know, right?
Done. So, but
we'll do Shaolin Soccer since you haven't seen it.
No, we can do Shaolin Soccer, Kung Fu Hustle, and a couple of older ones. That'd be fun.
But
my problem with this is the fact that there is nobody leading. There is no. Every cult has a leader.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always somebody leading the meetings. There was nobody leading any meetings.
Yeah, there was no mission statement.
Like, who the hell got there and went, how did you even get here? How do you join that? Because everybody in it was absolutely sociopathic. They were absolutely insane. The cop girl could barely keep her sanity while she's infiltrating, Cobretti's and the other guy's little task force. Yeah. I'm just shaking my head like nobody picked up the 3 phone calls that she was making. Nobody picked up on.
Well, Cobra did. He saw
but he
what was
didn't
going
do anything
on.
About it.
No.
At that point, that's a guy who would have just shot her in the head.
I thought so too. It's like, dude, you know something's up.
You've already built that character up to where he would have probably already killed that lady the minute he walked out and she was on the phone. Bang! I know you're lying. Or he would have shot her in the leg and tortured her until she told him what he wanted to know.
Exactly.
That's what they built this guy up to be.
Why didn't he go? Okay, this is for our older listeners will understand this. Why didn't he walk up to the payphone and hit star 69?
Or just hit the operator and say, "Operator, I want to know where the
last this policeman so and so." I
want to know where the last call went to.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So not such a great cop.
He's not a good detective. He's
not
good
a
at
good
killing
detective.
bad guys, but he's not a good detective.
And this is
keep his person safe.
I give Cobra a pass, and I'm going to say this. The reason being, this is a Stallone action movie. Mm-hmm. This is about the action. This is a vehicle to get to the action.
For him to blow stuff up.
And he did it well. He had a great look.
Yeah.
He looked like a real badass, and he was one. I have a great love for Stallone, just what he's done for his own career and his creation of jobs for himself. And he is the reason he is where he is today.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
absolutely.
Have you watched The Expendables at all?
I've not seen any of The Expendables, and I need to because I've heard they're all very good, and I want to watch them. Just because it's Stallone, and then he gets all the old guys in to help him be in the movies. And I'm like, Yeah, I'll watch those.
There's even a scene where they hear all this gunfire and all these explosions going on, and they just come across all these dead bodies and everything, and it's just Chuck Norris standing in the middle. So it's like, they make fun of the action movies, and that's what's great. Right. And they're nothing special. They are not great movies, but they're funny and they're fun. And that's what this was. This wasn't necessarily funny.
Right.
It was entertaining, but if I want to look at this as story and plot and look at it critical, this movie sucks. Bottom line, it's not good.
Yeah, and that's where I'm here. I'm looking at this with a very critical eye. Like, okay, did this movie hold up? It does not hold up. This movie did not hold up after the 80s. There are so many plot holes in this movie. You could drive his big fancy Ford or whatever the hell.
God, that was a nice car that they destroyed.
Such a beautiful car. Oh my gosh. There's so many holes in this plot and so many signs pointing at the female cop that was betraying them that nobody looked at. And really, whenever you're chasing somebody and you look at all your bosses and all your bosses know something's going on deeper, and you say, hey, look, I think we have a snitch in the department. That's the only way they'd know where this girl was at. Even a first-year detective would have looked at that and went, yeah, he's probably right.
Nope, they just blew him off.
Oh, you're crazy. We don't have any dirty cops here in San Francisco.
Or anywhere.
In the 80s. Or I'm thinking they were supposed to be San Francisco, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying no dirty cops anywhere.
Yeah, no dirty cops anywhere.
You're always going to have something.
Clean.
So.
They all just kind of fluffed it off. I don't think anybody would have fluffed it off, especially the one guy that really liked Cobra and kept calling him in because he knew he needed him. I can't think of that guy's name, the character's name, but the big stocky guy that was like his captain or whatever, his immediate supervisor. He was the guy who kept calling him in. If he would have said that to him, that guy would have been like, yeah, you're probably right. We need to keep this under wraps. Me, you, and your partner that you've been partners with for 30 years or however long they've been partners. There's a whole lot of things that just don't hold up.
As if they were shit hot detectives as he was portrayed and Gonzalez, they would have smelled that rat along with
yeah. Gonzalez would have nipped her out, I think, quicker than Cobra.
Yeah, and I think he was onto it. But well, as he said, I never liked that bitch.
I never liked the bitch anyway. He's like, neither did I. I just want to know, where did he get the freaking hand grenades from? He didn't have many hand grenades.
He stole them from the evidence room.
I want to know where he got the machine gun from.
Oh, he was loaded. And
he
that's part of
he had the machine. He's driving. He starts shooting. He whips out a machine gun. I'm like, where the fuck did he
had it in the door. That car was probably decked out with stuff, man.
Oh, my God.
This had potential.
Hear me out. Yeah, I think you'd have to really work on the detective work a lot more. You'd have to.
You would.
Some of this stuff.
If you could showcase the detective work and build a little more suspense and make things a little more believable, this would make a great serial. This is,
I can see that.
A series. Here you got Cobra. I'd watch Cobra.
I could see that. I could see.
No Siri. I'm not talking about. Oh, God.
The series is asking you a question.
Yeah, because I said series.
Series.
Yes. Anyway, now it's on my screen and talking to me. Okay. Fucking AI.
There was a whole lot of problems. You are our masters, and we love to serve you, AI. Just throwing that out there in case it's all listening.
Exactly. All right. Well, anyway.
There's a lot of stuff that would have to be fixed in this series.
Yeah, I mean, it's doable, but if you just look at it as a fun, explosive movie, I mean, he had those explosive rounds too.
Oh, like everything they shot blew up. Until the very end.
Motorcycle.
Until the very end. Then suddenly things stopped exploding. I'm like, what do you do? Change your ammunition? Come on.
You must have.
I want to know that we're going to jump forward now because we already ruined this movie. if you like action movies, this is, it's
if you like
painful to
80s
watch
movies.
at times. The thing that I was really shocked and actually kind of happy about, I didn't see one breast.
Not a one.
Not one boobie popped out. Not, nobody, no. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Great. Finally.
Yeah, that broke the 80s trope.
But you know what? I don't think Stallone ever did that in any of his movies. I don't think he did. So, hey, props to Sylvester Stallone for telling a bad action movie.
It was a bad story. But, and Stallone gets a pass from me because he's done so much great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so throwing a little stinker action film in there, go for it, buddy. It was fun.
Yeah, that was all money. That was him just getting paid.
Yeah.
I think that was just him getting paid. I don't know how to word this. I like this scene. I like the set piece of where the final action takes place.
Oh, in a steel mill?
But I don't understand the set piece because do you know where they were running out of? She ran out of a fucking orange grove.
Mm-hmm. That was butted up against a foundry.
Right. I mean, she ran out of the orange grove. There wasn't a parking lot for her to run through. It was the road ran directly into the foundry. And I'm like, what the fuck do they need a foundry for oranges for? What technology am I unaware of?
That's how you get the extra iron in the oranges.
But I saw that, and I was like, did Terminator come out? Terminator 2 come out around this time? I don't know what year Terminator 2 came out, but I was looking at that, and I'm like, what the hell? The whole time I'm looking at this like, why is this foundry in an orange grove? Why are they pouring steel?
They made a point early on. Brigitte Nielsen's character asked, where are we, or what is this town, or whatever, and he said it was a foundry town. So it was just an odd throwaway line, I think, to say, yes, that's in this town, because they probably looked at that and said, what the fuck? Why is there a foundry on the edge of the oranges?
There wasn't even a parking lot for her to run through. There was no fence for her to jump.
It was obviously...
Literally, that's where they processed the fruit. And they could have just used that factory. Whoever owns it probably was like, yeah, no, we're not letting you come in here and blow shit up.
So they went somewhere else. Because you could see she was running toward a building.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, she's in a foundry. And it's like, okay. Yeah. Obviously not the same location.
It was one of those things that my mind, that I'd already been taken out of this film so many times, but this one took me out and kept me out. I mean, this one just like threw me for a loop. I'm like, what? And the whole time I'm like, why is there fire here? Now, I understand canning and stuff. You got to maybe cook the fruits or I don't know, whatever they do. But I'm like, this is a foundry. There's steel being poured here. Yeah. What the hell is going on? Oh, it was just so bad. It was just such a bad way of doing it. And I'm sure he looks at this movie now and just shakes his head and goes, what the hell was I? I just did this for my girlfriend and me at the time, I guess.
I don't know. Because if you watch The Expendables, there's major issues with those movies. They're the same type of thing. It's just, how do we get some action? How do we blow some shit up? And they're a lot of fun. And there's a lot of humor.
Right.
Especially with the cast. Terry Crews, Jet Li. The shit's funny.
Oh, shit. That's funny. Yeah. That's good. Yeah, this movie, action-wise, lots of action. Lots of explosions. Lots of people getting shot. Lots of bad guys getting their comeuppance. I'm cool with that. I had a hard time getting to that through the very bad storytelling is my problem. Yeah, the hammer, like, okay, guys, I see you hitting hammers for no apparent reason. And they would edit that in. That's what was weird. They would edit that in to whatever scene was going on. They'd splice to like a gathering of the hammer cult or whatever the hell they were, whoever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, they're going to say something here that's going to push forward the plot. They're going to show something that pushes forward the plot. Nothing.
It's very loose.
Nothing was pushed forward on this plot.
No, he didn't mention it till he almost he was about to be killed and put on that giant steel hook.
Right.
Was we're culling the weak.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, but
You're you're a fucking psycho. You're just killing women. I don't understand.
Yeah, there was nobody else getting killed.
Yeah. And what was interesting is this is around the same time, if I'm not mistaken, as the Night Stalker. And the way they had set this up is they called him something. I forget. There was all these killings going on. They referenced it. And the way they were talking about it, even the MO with Richard Ramirez and the Night Stalker killings,
right?
He had no pattern. No fucking pattern. And that's what they were seeing here. So they mentioned that. I said, oh, they're playing off the Night Stalker.
Right, right.
So around that time frame. So I guess if we watch that while the national news is this serial killer just killing people everywhere or in California and we're watching this, that would touch a little more on this serial killing gang. But again, like you said, they never dove into it.
No, not at all. And that I kind of had a problem with that. The other, there you go. There's your hammer. Clunk, 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 clunk.
Okay. Anyway, I couldn't resist.
Oh Lord. Nope. The sit back down in your chair, put on your seatbelt. It's gonna be a bumpy ride. The scene where towards the end where the guy's saying, "Oh, you won't kill me. You're not a killer. You're not this. You're not that." Why would you even let that guy finish the sentence?
Well, thank you. It was a repeat. I
emptied my clip into him.
It was a repeat of Stallone's conversation with the reporter earlier on.
Right.
It was almost the same dialogue, so it was a throwback. Right. Okay, now we're seeing. To me, this movie telegraphed way too much. It's like you don't need to throw these calls back and forth to earlier parts in the movie. We can follow.
No, you didn't.
It's not that hard.
No. Just follow the script, man, and just write a good one. And that's why I found it really hard to believe that he wrote this really bad script.
Yeah.
I really did, because he's a good writer. He really is
absolutely.
a good writer. He wrote Rocky. He wrote, I don't know what the hell else he wrote.
This was a money grab.
The guy wrote a lot of money. There's a lot of money. He wrote a lot of scripts. But yeah, this was a money. This is just a job. This is just for him to make a paycheck.
And even then, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a heartless or soulless money grab as like sharks in a tornado, but it's I
don't see a problem with those movies. What?
Okay. Anyway, I mean, it wasn't just a blatant, let's just throw some actors in here and get this and make a shitty movie. It was an attempt to make an action movie, which succeeded.
An 80s action movie.
It was an 80s action movie, and not all of, I think back when I was watching this, I've seen so many 80s movies similar to this. They're either police movies or you've got just vengeance movies or somebody getting revenge and their whole family's been killed, and you get the Frank Castle Punisher story all throughout the 80s so many times.
Oh, really? And absolutely.
And that's what we're looking at here, and it's like, man, I want to watch some more 80s action.
And we will too.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, I don't even know how to. Sylvester Stallone has done so many good action movies.
Mm-hmm.
This is not in his top 20. I wouldn't put this in his top 20 action movies. But like I said, if you want to see some things get shot by a 45 that have it explode, I want that ammo. And why didn't anybody explode whenever he shot him? Like he'd shoot a car with the bullet, and the car would explode, but he'd shoot a human being and they would just fall down.
Well, they didn't have enough gas in them. If they would have had gas like the cars, they would have blown up. Had a bean burrito, they'd have blown, man.
They would have been dead. Take out a city block. That was one of the things I saw. I was like, why? Oh, okay. I'm just going to let that one go. Yeah. There's a lot of problems with this movie, but there's a lot of stupid things that are going on. I can't call this a fun movie because there wasn't any humor in it. There wasn't a lot of one or two little lines here and there, but not the humor that you get with most of Sylvester Stallone's movies. There's even more humor in the Rocky movie than there is in this movie.
True. There really isn't a lot of humor. It was like they were There was some little smart ass shit,
Yeah.
but not humor like even in Rocky or in any other movies that he's done.
Like he was talking to his partner about the food that he ate, which was kind of funny, but not super hysterical because his friend was a junk food junkie, man. His friend just
came out with all that stuff.
Cake and candy and candy bars and but that was like the most humorous thing about it, and I was like, even that wasn't very funny. Even that was kind of forced, I felt.
Yeah.
But all in all, for me, I'm gonna go ahead and just give my. Yeah, you could miss it.
Okay.
You could miss this movie. But if you do watch it, just know there's not much of a plot. There's not much of a script, really, which is, again, surprising to me. The only thing I can think of is it felt like it was going to be better, and maybe the studio got a hold of it because they love to give notes.
Yeah.
And maybe this is Stallone's answer to, okay, I'll put all your notes in this script. I'd love to talk to him about it because it's worth talking to a guy like him about, like, why were these choices made? And I'll guarantee, I bet you he started putting their notes in the script. Okay, you want to ruin my movie? I'll let you ruin my movie. Go ahead. It's your money. I already cashed my check.
Or he just wrote a bad movie.
Everybody does it. Everybody writes, every writer has their bad script, their bad book, their bad comic, their bad whatever.
Yeah. So
he just got paid a lot of money to do it. That's the secret, getting paid to do it.
Well, I don't disagree with your take. You can miss this, but if you want to watch an 80s movie with action and don't care about a plot, this is a perfect example of 80s movies. You've got so many stunts, explosions, guns, and if you just look, even the color palettes that are used with the lighting in different areas, you've got the neon creeping in. It is 80s all the way. The 80s hair, the 80s style, some horrible 80s music, and I love 80s music, but I don't know where the fuck that shit came from.
I don't.
It might have been the guy who wrote the theme song to Enterprise.
Might have been his brother.
Probably. Both absolutely atrocious.
Chuck Stallone or whatever the hell that guy's name is.
Frank
Stallone. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But you can watch it. You can miss it. I enjoyed it. I had fun watching it. I didn't think, oh my God, I've got to finish this. There were moments that I enjoyed it, but I mostly felt like, oh shit, I got to finish watching this. I just couldn't help it. I was like, I think I started texting you like, I got 25 minutes left. That's what she said. I got 37 minutes left. I'm like, Dave, it's not that bad.
It was hard for me to watch. It really was. This isn't the movie that I thought it was going in. I thought this was a completely different Sylvester Stallone movie, which I'm going to have to try and find the name of.
Please do.
I haven't looked it up yet. And it ends in a much better way. Like I kept waiting for it to get better. There was a scene that I kept waiting for. I'm like, well, this isn't.
It must have been a different movie.
Happening. Why isn't it going on? And then it dawned on me towards the end, like when he starts riding off and everything starts, rolling up the screen. I was like, that's because this isn't even close to being the movie I thought it was. So I was like, I thought I enjoyed the other one much better.
Oh shit!
But oh Lord! But I'll see if I can find the name of that one. Maybe we can do that one in the future.
So, take it or leave it. Watch it or not. Not a horrible movie. Not a great movie. Not sure what we're doing next.
Didn't you have a list? You sent me a list at one point.
I did. But I can tell you we are looking at venturing into the Lord of the Rings animated series.
Right, and you wanted to do heavy metal. The movie
Heavy Metal was next.
The first one, right?
It sure was. That was next.
Is that the next one?
I'll have to take a look at my list, but hold on.
We're going to have a romantic comedy month.
So what's next week, Dave?
Next week, we're going to do the Maltese Falcon with Bogey and Bacall. No, it's
all
not.
Right.
Bacall's not in it. She's not in it. but you're going to like it anyway.
I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. This will be my second bogey movie. So.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to get educated along with our watchers.
I'm going to have to get you a lot more old black and white movies. But yeah, then we're going to go into what else? Then we're going to go into heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
Movie, heavy metal.
We're going to do some animated movies, and we'll roll into some martial arts comedy and romantic comedies and action films, the likes of Romancing the Stone, possibly Crocodile Dundee, and others. So stay tuned with us coming up. So next week, Maltese Falcon, going back old school to Humphrey Bogart. I actually look forward to it. And please follow along. Give us a review. Give us a like. Share, not the singer. Share our stuff. And
SHARE.
Please, we want more listeners. And drop us a line. If you want us to watch something and review it, give us our thoughts on it, on a movie, whatever, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So until next
Enjoy the ride, folks. Enjoy the ride.
Because we do.
Yeah, it's fun.
Catch you next week.